Well, hello there. Welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. And for today's YouTube video, I would like to talk about a subject and something that's just been on my mind for, I would say, at least a few months, maybe about a year now. And this is really for anybody out there who would like to watch, since all of us on Earth are getting through life on Earth, and well, sometimes, we have good times in our lives, but at the same time, we all have our challenges and our bad days, and well, sometimes life can be tough, and some of those tough things can be things that are currently happening, or sometimes we get into a negative mood from something we remember from our past. And I just wanted to make a video with this title called Don't Give In to Cranky, or Don't Give In to Crankiness. This has been in my mind really because I think about what has now been the last 15 years of my life since 2009, which was, to this day, I would say my biggest turning point in my personal life. In 2009, the very sad thing happened when my father passed away. It was from early April of 2009 until May 19th, when my father went in and out of the hospital, and his liver was failing and his kidneys were having problems, and my father had to start having dialysis. And after 6 weeks, it was from May 15th onwards, for the last few days, to May 19th, when my father's health took that final really bad turn. And well, I was devastated. I was really uh, heartbroken over that. I did not want to lose my father when I was only 16 and when he was only 61. But I had known that in those few years up to that time, my father had had some health problems, and then I was especially aware in those last 6 weeks of his life that his health was having even more problems. And well, what I am glad about in those last 6 weeks is that my father and I had some time to talk, and he told me during the first hospital visit, "Son, if something happens to me, I want you to just keep on trucking through. Just keep trucking on through. Keep on living your life." That was the message that my father told me repeatedly, and that sticks with me to this day. And over the last 15 years, that has definitely been helpful to me. And of course, over the last 15 years, there have been times that I have been sad about losing a parent, and without getting too much into detail, there have been some other things that have happened as well, with my life and personal challenges. I know there have been some disagreements on how to run one of my houses, and some debates over the money that was left behind. some debates or arguments on it. That hasn't been fun. And, well, when I think back to those 2 years of high school I had left, from the fall of '09 to the spring of 2011, those last 2 school years without my dad, of course, I was always striving to keep my friends and make new ones. But of course, just like so many of us in high school, I wanted to see some good things happen with dating as well and finding the right girl. And, well, there were some really unhappy stories during those last 2 years of high school and one or two right after high school. And really, since I graduated high school, it's been all about me trying to work through the depression that I felt, especially in those first few years after my father had passed. And then, more unhappy things occurred, the things I mentioned. And yeah, I know it may seem on the outside to anyone who gets to know me enough. Some people may think, "Oh, look at you, sir. I mean, you you have a good amount of money and you have your talents and you love riding the roller coasters and going to the record store. I mean, how could you ever be unhappy?" Well, the truth is there are some days when I am happy to be at a record store or ride the roller coasters or be with my friends, but I would be lying if I said that every day is totally happy for me, especially over the last 15 years. Yeah, I've had my time when I had to be more alone, and there have been times when I have become cranky and maybe felt internally angry at some memories that I've had with the fact that my father passed when he was too young and I was too young, and certain memories with trying to find the right girl when I was younger to be my girlfriend. And, certain things have stuck with me. And, in addition to the advice of just keep trucking on through and living your life to the end, what I would pass on to anyone out there who may have these kind of similar unhappy memories with loss or romantic heartbreak, or on the days when we may not succeed in a sport or if we go through a challenge, I highly recommend to anyone out there, don't give in to becoming cranky and angry. I know that there are some days when we are legitimately sad, and I'm not saying to just bottle up all of your unhappy emotion. It's good to talk to people about how we honestly feel. It's just that, whether we are with other people or when we have our time to ourselves, when we feel unhappy, it's possible to become cranky and angry. And, well, I really feel that if we let that crankiness or anger continue to snowball, then we can become even more cranky or more angry all the time. And when that happens, it can be very bad for our health, and it can make other people very unhappy. It can lead to bad decisions, and it can just make life feel much more miserable if we constantly give in to being cranky and angry and then letting it snowball. That's something that's been on my mind for a long while now. And, well, I would say for the most part that I've been working on it. And yeah, I know that the last 15 years for me, since my biggest turning point in my personal life, not every day has been fun. But what I try to do in order to not be cranky and angry is I try to find fun things to do, like my personal hobbies, whether that's riding a roller coaster or going to the record store and joining a bowling league as of recently has been a very fun idea. And being connected to my faith has definitely been very helpful over all these years. There's been a number of things that I've done and I would recommend to anyone out there in order to, get to that point where maybe you can have something fun and nice and enjoyable. And heck, I mean, for just about all of these hobbies, you can find other people as well who enjoy them as well. And there you go. It can be some of the friends you've known for a while joining in on these hobbies, or hey, you can make new friends as well and maybe meet the right person if you're available. And yeah, then you have something in common. Uh, yeah, I like to think of those things, hobbies, and even finding joy in a certain job. I know over the last 10 years, from 2014 onwards, I have worked as a gatekeeper at Lakeside Chautauqua. And over the years, there have been a number of repeat customers who I now consider to no longer just be another customer. I consider a number of them to be my actual friend. And whether it's through a compliment or the number of times when someone has brought me a meal, that's been very uplifting to me. And I really appreciate everyone that I have met through the Lakeside Gates and also through the the job at Cedar Point for Halloween, this job here. Some of the people I've worked with have now been uh, coming back year after year, and I have some new buds from that. And, well, even from very, very recently, I'm also very glad to have um, a number of friends and people I know from being involved at the bowling alley. For the first time in my whole life, I am now surrounded by a great number of people who love bowling, they understand it, and I don't have to feel weird about it. Now, I get it, there are a number of sports in this world, and some of us are more enthusiastic about other sports than others, but for me, bowling has always been number one, and I'm so glad that I have that. And, it gives me something to do, something social, and again, I can connect with more people on something that is similar to me. Just like I'm glad to have people who I've met who love Lakeside Chautauqua and people who love roller coasters and working at an amusement park. I would also like to say that when I think back on all those years, especially from 2009 onwards, those first few years, all of the people who were there to help me at actually at one time 3 different churches that I was involved with in Cincinnati, Ohio. You know, I was very glad to have people there to pray for me and encourage me. Yeah, I'm very happy about that. It certainly helped me at times to feel uplifted and not feel cranky or angry. Along with, if we count a fourth church, there was also a time when I was involved in another one where I did a youth ministry internship in the summer of 2012, and that was a very eye-opening experience in how to work at a church and see what goes on there. And yeah, I just think of all those people who were there, um, in churches that I knew, and also friends who were there in high school, and other family members, and still remembering what my dad said. Just keep trucking on through. Just keep trucking on through. And boy, am I really glad that my father said that to me. And yeah, I know that the last 15 years, for me at least, I've seen one transition after another. I know there was a long time when I was in Cincinnati a whole lot more often, and well, at one point I was involved in a few different churches, and then eventually just one full time. And now, at least over the last year or two, I've been fully involved in North Ohio. And yeah, it's been quite a story with, you know, which part of Ohio I want to live in. And also, I had known for a long time I loved working for Lakeside, but when I finally got involved with working at Cedar Point for the first time, and then working at Kings Island for the first time, I'm so glad that I decided to just keep trucking on through and to see these things. I'm really, really glad that I've been able to do all of these things, getting through all the transitions. And yes, there have definitely been a number of interesting and fun things and people that I've gotten to see and meet over the last 15 years. I do believe in the end it's worth it to just keep trucking on through. And yet, at the same time, when we have our days, when we feel unhappy over something that may be happening right now, or if there is a memory from the past, I would also say, again, do not give in to becoming cranky and angry. I hope that for anyone out there watching, that you do have someone out there, maybe a family member or a friend or a very trusted individual that you can talk to, or maybe even at least a few different people, maybe someone you know at your job or at your church or at school or wherever. Yes, I hope that there are people out there that you can talk to. And well, for anyone watching this video, if I talk to you either in person or over the phone, I hope I can be there as well. I hope this video here has given you something to think about, and I hope it has been at least encouraging and maybe can be good for the days ahead. just keep trucking on through and don't give in to cranky. Don't give in to crankiness or anger. I do hope and wish the best for everything that will happen in the future ahead. And thank you very much for watching today. I may be back at some point with another video, but stay well. Thank you for watching.